Many people have watched the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Many people have watched the movie Slumdog Millionaire. And even though now we're in a society where many people have seen people break through the echelons of billionaire status and borderline trillionaire status, most people who aspire to grow want to make their first million. Now, granted, there is a show on the HubSpot podcast network called My First Million. Recommended. Great show. Phenomenal teachings and learnings. But for me, I'm thinking about all the people who may not be in the higher echelon. Achieving $1 million would be a pinnacle, would be a milestone, would be a season of greatness. But how will we get there? People talk in terms of mindset, but it's not just what you think. Thinking about something and doing something are totally two different exercises and require a lot more discipline, effort, energy, and almost delusion when you execute versus when you simply think about. I'm sitting here and I'm like, what would I do? How would I achieve $1 million if that was the goal? Now, granted, for me, I already think in frameworks. I've built a lot of ecosystems for a lot of brands and startups. I have a high level of experience in a lot of areas, somewhat good credibility, able to orchestrate and bring a lot of people together and operate across multiple verticals. So for me, it's not that I don't need the motivation. The motivation is already inside of me. But what I do need is more discipline, compressing a lot of things down, and concentration. That millionaire in 1 year mindset has nothing to do with hustle culture or being delusional from that being a possibility. But it does require a little bit of delusion to help you separate from where you are to where you want to be. And the first thing is to acknowledge you must think of where you want to be, not where you are right now. Where you are right now, it feels impossible. But if we work backwards from where you want to be, it now seems possible. You need to obsess over leverage, not effort. Again, I'm going to say that again. You need to obsess over leverage, not effort. HubSpot helped Tumblr solve a really big problem. They needed to move fast to produce trending content, but their marketing team was stuck waiting on engineers to code every single email campaign. Oh my gosh. Now, they use HubSpot's customer platform to email in real time trending content to millions of users in just seconds. And the impact? 3 times more engagement and double the content creation. Whew. Want to move faster like Tumblr? Visit HubSpot.com to learn more today. There's 3 ways I surmise would help me and you, if you've never done it, become a millionaire. And I will add a little superlative things at the end as well. The first thing, you need to obsess over leverage, not effort. Effort scales linearly. What you put out, what you put in is flatline, is capped, all of that. But leverage scales exponentially. Remember, leverage language to launch, my leads generator blueprint, leveraging people in my Clover business framework, leveraging people, leveraging systems, leveraging media, leveraging intellectual property, leveraging equity, distribution, assets, tangible things beyond time will help you grow much faster. Because if what you're doing requires more of your time to grow, it won't hit $1 million in 12 months, let alone at all. But beyond that, it's not about reaching the $1 million. Because when you take out taxes and expenses and all the other things and nuances, you're not left with $1 million. So that means you have to go bigger than $1 million to actually achieve $1 million. Stay with me. Number 2, solve a $10 million problem. Millionaires do not chase $1,000 wins. They attach themselves and drive towards revenue streams that already exist that they can absorb. For example, for me, I'm wired for strategy, marketing positioning, revenue infrastructure, growth development, content marketing, ecosystem design, people enhancement, and enablement, right? So who cares? What does that translate into to actually help me achieve more wins in a higher level of thinking in this higher level playing field? I should not be selling marketing, air quotes. I should be selling the process of engineering revenue acceleration through marketing. But I'm not selling marketing. What does that mean? Translation: I am selling the outcome, not the process. No one cares. If what you offer feels like a product, they buy the product. I don't care what went all into this brand new 135,000 full blown all out vehicle. I want to buy it, and I want it to do everything that it says it's going to do. I don't care the process of how it got to that point. I just want to buy it and enjoy it. Yes, it's easy to say that when you're in the product side, but when you can condition your services, your offerings in a way where it feels like a done deal product, much easier. That leads me to number 3, which is hard even for me as a polymath and someone who is a multi-hyphenate, multi-potentialite who can be a Swiss Army knife and do a lot of things relatively well. Not perfect, not the best, but well enough. More than many, but not more than most. But good enough. Go narrower to go bigger. I'm a multidimensional person. That is my superpower. And at the same time, it is my biggest distraction risk in hurting me from achieving such a goal. I mean, seriously, the $1 million in a year goal requires one flagship offer, one defined buyer, one clear outcome, and one distribution engine. I know there's a lot of different distribution engines and you want multiple offers and multiple things, but there's going to be this one thing that's going to dominate everything else, that if you go all in and don't hesitate, all gas, no brakes with systems and infrastructure, that is your quickest, fastest, most possible chance of actually obtaining $1 million.
What's up, digital world? You're listening to the I Digress audio experience with Troy Sandidge. Social media, marketing, storytelling, business, culture, and more. Coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
It's not 5 initiatives. It's not 7 brands. It's one focused, intentional revenue vehicle. When you hear all the podcasts, read all the books, watch all the videos, attend all the events, the people that you aspire, that you reference, that you quote, yes, they've built multiple things once they achieved the first. But on their way up, they doubled down on one thing until it made them the money that they wanted to expand and explore other archetypes and possibilities. Now, that was great, Troy. Awesome. You talked about the 3 things. Obsess, over leverage, not effort. Solve a $10 million problem to get the $1 million. And go narrower to go bigger. Great. Cool. Awesome. But, I sit with this and I think, there's a healthy way to achieve this and a not so healthy way to achieve this. The unhealthy way, people think I gotta be burnt out. I gotta be overcommitted. I have to be ego driven. I have to push revenue without margin. I have to borderline chase validation. I have to sacrifice everything else in my life and obsessively commit to this one thing as my full, unapologetic identity. And though people have romanticized about it, many people use that as a story point to go through the journey and all those things, we all can admit that's not healthy. The healthy way, if I'm using myself as an example, as someone who really genuinely wants to achieve that, not for the sake of being one, but it's a great thing to pursue because in many ways, the more money that I can make, the more impact I can have, the more time I can have with my family, the better life I can conserve. Most times people are afraid to make more money because they think they're going to unravel and not make wise decisions with the surplus of money that they gain. That's going to reveal to you in the short money that you have. How much money are you wasting on these things? Yes, choose the ones at times. Yes, allow yourself to enjoy life. But if you're going to complain that your life is not where it's meant to be, and then not do anything about it to correct the situation, you're creating the influx that you're staying in that situation and that you're comfortable being in that. The uncomfortable thing is, I want to achieve this. However, I can do this in a way that's still healthy, that once I achieve it, I don't lose my family, I don't lose myself, I don't lose my dignity just to pursue this abstract, very high end number. Because there's more and more millionaires happening every day. There are children that are millionaires doing YouTube. There are people making $1 million doing very boring, not glamorous work. It doesn't have to be through content creation. It doesn't have to be through an agency. People are becoming millionaires off basic things. It's what you choose to do and double down on it, build the systems and infrastructure to scale it until you surpass it. And you can't become one by yourself 99.999% of the time, if at all, unless you want to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and go that route. But I digress. Demand Decoded is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. From the team at Blend, a B2B website and demand generation agency, comes Demand Decoded, the podcast that breaks the mold of traditional B2B marketing tactics. Hosts Dan and Phil deliver actionable insights that transform your marketing into a revenue-generating machine. Whether you're starting with LinkedIn ads that aren't converting, want to understand the difference between lead generation and demand generation, or need to optimize your conversion rates, Demand Decoded gives you the strategies that work today. Tune in for weekly episodes featuring expert analysis and hard-earned tips that'll help you become a better B2B marketer. You'll get practical, no-nonsense advice that challenges outdated marketing strategies and delivers real ROI. So stop wasting budget on tactics that don't work and start building a marketing strategy that actually drives pipeline. Listen to Demand Decoded wherever you get your podcasts. My thing is, for me, the healthy way, if I'm being really honest with myself right now, revenue share agreements, a must. Boom. Make money on multiple sides from the energy of the bridge that you do. 1 to 3 premium clients at high ticket retainers. Not everybody needs to be a high ticket retainer, but goodness, you need to be stable and you need to scale. But stabilizing yourself first takes the pressure off to build and scale later. So 2 and 3 premium clients that cover me, that keep me going, all great things, all gas, no brakes. I'm all in on them. While that's happening now, I can license out my frameworks. I can scale my books into systems that can empower people to do it themselves at a fee. Productizing my strategic initiatives and intensives to make these things move in faster waves. And there's a plethora of other things that I'm sure I can do to make that happen. No, I don't need 100 clients. That's not the way. If you try to do the math and get 100 clients, that means you're getting 100 clients to do $10,000. Nah, I need 5 to 10 really good, high level, high leverage, high impact relationships that can help me create the premium clients and mid-level clients that can become premium clients, but not too many, just enough. And then everything else could be a subset of events, speaking, strategy, podcasts, things that don't take so much energy. And the systems then allow you to scale and distribute at a higher level than you could by yourself. This is where AI comes into play. Not before. It can in strategy to a degree or expansion of thought to a degree, but it really goes well on the systems and infrastructure and integration side of the things. Once you figure out what's working, you can double down on it, triple down on it, quadruple down on it. Sounds easy. It's not. It's hard. There's a reason most people can't do it. There's a reason most people won't even try. I've gotten to a place where it's not about the arbitrary number, but it's about, can I build something that can take me there? Because they always say your first million is the hardest. Your first 100,000 is the hardest. Your first 10,000 is the hardest. Your first dollar is the hardest. Can I bring that back down to people and remind them until you were able to exchange $1 for something that you created that didn't cost you a thing, you didn't know it was possible. Now you're like, oh, I can make money off this lemonade stand. Cool, bet. $100 to cut grass. Awesome. $1,000 to do XYZ. Cool. Do tutoring for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Awesome. But now you're getting 10,000 and 100,000 all the way up. It requires you to think at a higher level than you did before. Yeah, you can go to 10 clients route at 100,000 to 20 clients at 50,000. One scalable product that generates 83333 per month if you want to get really technical, right? All these things that people throw out there by the numbers you can do. However, you have to be realistic and really create the infrastructure to make that happen. That does start with building one core thing. It can have maybe a few different branches, but there's going to be one source of truth, one stem, one foundation that you need to embrace to make that happen. Now, if we flip the script here and bring it back down, the real question becomes one, can you focus long enough to achieve that goal? Because your biggest risk is not your capability. It's your capacity to focus when things are uncomfortable and when things don't go your way and when things don't work out and when you're deprived of dopamine and serotonin, when you're deprived of motivation, when you're deprived of actual resources to sustain you. When you take the losses, can you bounce back? How fast can you bounce back and recover? It's just as much about the dance of not just doing, it's adjusting, it's pivoting, it's building even when you don't have all the supplies yet to finish the skyscraper. People like me, and I'm sure many people like you, your mind can build a ton of empires. You add AI in the mix, you can have 100, 200, 500 business ideas and all these different assets and all these different things. But the market rewards the one you double down on the most every time. History often repeats itself every single time. So this requires a massive shift. The small things you can do today to think like a millionaire to achieve your goal of being a millionaire. If you're a service provider, raise your minimum deal size. Same thing if you're pushing a product, SaaS, don't care, doesn't matter. Raise the price. The more people that buy, that raise the price higher, you're going to make more money down the right deal. Yes, we'll have a short-term burn of people who maybe don't want to pay your price no more. But then think about all the new people who never knew that was your previous price and they're paying the existing price. And you switch it up and do it again and again and again. Another thing, which is incredibly hard for me as an empath who likes to give, stop explaining your value and stop negotiating against yourself and stop giving all the things to everyone to try to keep them. They pay, you play, you make it work. They don't want to navigate and stay and go. Let them go. If you're hoarding lower price value of clientele, don't complain about your portfolio of clientele not achieving the $1 million status that you want. But I'll say this too, the leap is less about your skill. You can be taught skill. You can learn skill. You can have the experience. It's more about your identity of understanding. I'm not charging for deliverables anymore. I'm charging for outcomes. You're charging for outcomes. And it doesn't even have to necessarily be a monetary one. How they feel, how they think, how they believe themselves to be, what they see in the mirror are tangible sensory marketing pieces that are tangible enough to say, yes, I want that. And this is how much I'm willing to pay for that experience. Again, I need to sit with this. Is it healthy to set a goal of $1 million? Yes. Why limit yourself? But most people think that's absolutely ridiculous, that they'll never happen. If you subject yourself to 25 years of working at a certain job and the max you ever made was $50,000 every year, you can't fathom making $100,000. You can't fathom making $250,000, and you sure enough can't fathom making $1 million plus. That's because you're in a limiting mindset, and that's because you've played in this space of ways that you can't break through. You have to break free from that and really think, how do I operate this strategically? And again, it can be healthy. If you protect your energy, don't do this shiny object syndrome and hope a quick fix, a quick gimmick is going to help you get there. It won't. You have to build recurring revenue. It's not about just making revenue. How much recurring revenue can I generate while also decreasing the amount of time and energy requires of me, so of you, to make that? And if I can integrate AI to do even more at scale without me doing more, and it's going less and less and less, all the numbers will align. And before you know it, you'll blink and the IRS will tell you, you're a millionaire. Please pay us X amount of money because you achieved this thing. You're in a different tax bracket. And it won't even feel that way. Poof, here we are. But people don't want to make the changes to get there. They want an easy fix. Because if it was easy, everyone would do it. But they can't. And they won't. But they won't even try. And I'm going to say this too. If it requires you to sacrifice your family, your peace, your mental health, your sanity, that's not wealth. That's obsessive ego disguised as ambition, and I'd say misguided ambition. Let me ask you something powerful. If you had to build a $1 million business with only one offer, one audience, and one channel to focus on, what would you choose? And 98% of the time, that's exactly what you need to do. And that answer will tell you everything. So let me know. If you had to build $1 million business with one offer, one audience, and one channel, what would that be? Tag me at Find Troy. Share this episode. Thank you. See you next time.
And that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Digress. What was your takeaway? Care to share your thoughts and tag Troy on social media? You can find him on all platforms at Find Troy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review or comment for this episode from wherever you're listening. Looking for a marketing strategist to build the structure, strategies, and systems you need to get the success you want and the ROI you desire in your business? Book a discovery call to talk with Troy at findtroy.com. And as Troy's philosophy goes, imagination is the engine, content is the fuel, social media is the highway, marketing is the roadmap, sales is the destination, culture is the GPS. Thanks for listening.